Good Friday and welcome to Meet the Press Now. I'm Chuck Todd reporting in Washington at what is a pretty fraught moment for this country. Former President Trump, the current frontrunner for the Republican nomination, has been indicted by the Manhattan District Attorney. It's the first time ever in this country's history that criminal charges have been brought against a former U.S. president. We're going to dive into what this means politically in a moment, but first, here's what we know about the charges. The grand jury's indictment remains under seal. Sources tell NBC News that the former president is likely facing approximately 30 counts of document fraud-related charges tied to those hush money payments he made back in 2016. He signed 11 checks, maybe 11 times 3 gets you into the 30s, perhaps counts, things like that. You can see where we're going here. But we don't know what those charges are exactly, and we don't expect to see the charging documents until early next week, either right before or right after the arraignment. So keep that in mind when you hear the reaction coming from the former president, his allies and his detractors. We don't quite know yet what's in this indictment. Right now, the former president's lawyers and 2 senior officials close to the investigation tell NBC News they do expect him to fly to New York on Monday night and surrender to authorities on Tuesday morning, when he'll appear in court at his arraignment and enter a plea. One of his lawyers appeared on the Today Show this morning and said the former president is not going to take a plea deal, and he's prepared to fight this case in court.
He initially was shocked. After he got over that, he put a notch on his belt, and he decided we have to fight now, and he got into a typical Donald Trump posture where he's ready to be combative on something that he believes is an injustice. His knees don't buckle, Savannah, so I think he's now in the posture that he's ready to fight this.
The announcement of the charges have been a rallying cry among some Republican lawmakers and even among Mr. Trump's 2024 rivals. Former UN ambassador and presidential candidate Nikki Haley said the charges were more about revenge than about justice. Again, we don't know what the charges are. Trump's top 2024 rival, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, called them a weaponization of the legal system to advance the political agenda of a George Soros-funded prosecutor. Again, we don't know what's in the indictment. Trump's former Vice President Mike Pence, who recently said history would hold Trump accountable for his actions on January 6th, also came to his former running mate's defense on this topic.
I think the unprecedented indictment of a former president of the United States on a campaign finance issue is an outrage. I think the American people are going to look at this, see it as one more example of the criminalization of politics in this country. The message that this sends to the wider world is a terrible message about the American justice system. And I would that this Manhattan DA would have thought better of it and put the interest of the nation first.
NBC News has learned that Mr. Trump has been calling Republicans on Capitol Hill to further attempt to rally their support. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy accused Bragg of election interference, while also vowing to use his powers in Congress to help Mr. Trump by going after the DA. There's also talk among some of the former president's most ardent supporters, including Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, of organizing protests in New York City next week to coincide with the arraignment. In a message this afternoon, the Senate Sergeant-at-Arms and Capitol Police said they do anticipate demonstration activity nationwide, but they did add that they had not received any specific credible threats. Meanwhile, Mr. Trump has been posting on social media, attacking Bragg and the judge that's been assigned to his case. Now you think, why is he already attacking the judge? What does he know? Well, this is the same judge that oversaw the Alan Weisselberg case, for what it's worth. He's also fundraising off of this and lamenting what he says is America's decline to a third world nation. We should point out that while Trump is the first former U.S. president to face criminal charges, he's far from the first former leader of a liberal democracy, small L liberal here, for those of you not sure of how I'm using this word, to find themselves in court, which is what you might expect in societies that do uphold the rule of law. For example, former Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi faced 35 criminal court cases during his career. He was convicted once for tax fraud. Former French President Jacques Chirac and Nicolas Sarkozy, 2 former presidents of France, both have been convicted of crimes after leaving office. And in Israel, the former Prime Minister Ehud Olmert spent a year in prison for bribery, fraud, and other charges. And the current Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, is on trial for those same charges that put Omer behind bars. It's also worth noting how often Trump's closest advisors have faced criminal charges. To name a few, you start with his former campaign chief, Paul Manafort. his company's chief financial officer, Alan Weisselberg, his former chief White House strategist, Steve Bannon, his longtime political strategist, Roger Stone, and of course his former personal attorney and fixer, Michael Cohen, who also may be playing a starring role in the Manhattan DA's case.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.